down 5. Bryant goes to work. Bryant the drive. Oh! Kobe Bryant on a rack attack. Posey will defend. Oh! LeBron James with no regard for human life. Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. Here comes McCready. Oh, he just sucked the gravity right out of the building. I like my meatballs spicy. Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown. Nowitzki again for the lead. Bang!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the inaugural edition of the Hoop There It Is podcast. This is an NBA podcast where we think we know what we're talking about. We probably don't, but we're going to have a good time anyway. I'm Anthony. That's really all I have to say about it. I have TJ here with me. Go ahead, TJ.
Hello.
And I have Joe with me, who's hungover.
I'm very hungover, but also I'm not even going to act like I know what I'm talking about.
So this is our first episode. What we're going to do today is we'll let you get to know us a little bit, and then we'll move on. We'll talk about last year's playoffs, because it is technically last year's playoffs. Now we're in July, and we'll talk about trades, and then we'll get the fuck out of here and see how that goes. But Joe is hungover. Joe, what the fuck did you do?
Well, it started with the great idea to sit by the pool all day. Made
Because Texas.
Yeah, it's Texas. It's hot as fuck. I didn't use enough sunscreen.
You do look like a lobster.
I was drinking knockoff Trulies, so White Claws. Claws out.
It's important to note that this episode is brought to Truly, who has provided no money here.
No.
Great value, truly. White Claws.
Our only...
Claws up.
Claws out, baby. Our actual first sponsor is Smart to Death. It's a wrestling podcast. Same producer, so he's going to pay us somehow.
Yeah,
I'm not
eventually.
actually.
No, you will.
I'm actually in debt
It's,
for the equipment.
But you promised.
It's okay. I already said it's happening.
So how much would you say you consumed?
Oh, between White Claws, summer beer, and then going to
Who
the
really
bar,
keeps count?
I don't know. I didn't look at my tab.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if I paid.
Uh-oh.
I should go check on that after this.
Do you have your card?
Yeah, no, I told them straight up. I was like, hey, I'm going to open a tab, but my card doesn't swipe, so I'll just come get you later. And it doesn't help.
That's on them.
It doesn't help that I work there, too. So, it's great.
Well, let's tell the listeners a little bit about our fandom. We'll start with TJ. Tell us, what is it about basketball that you love so much?
Well, I've been depressed for most of my life because I'm a Mavs fan.
Oh, yeah.
Same.
Mavs fan for life.
Yes.
2011 was a great year.
Grew up watching the 90s Bulls, just like pretty much every basketball fan did. And then I watched those god-awful Lakers teams win constantly. And then stopped watching for a little bit and then picked it back up right around 2010. Started like really, really watching super hard when the Mavs were decent and actually made the playoffs.
It's rough. Joe was actually a basketball player at one point. So tell us about your fame.
My fame. No, I just grew up in a household of basketball players. I mean, my dad is 6'7", so he was a really solid point guard.
Yeah, Joe's the short guy in the family, like 6'6.5".
Yeah.
Did you say he was a point guard?
No, he was not. He's 6'7" and played in Florida.
His dad's
he's a
Ben Simmons.
Fucking center.
Florida? What part of Florida?
Good question.
Okay.
I don't know.
You don't know your dad? This is going great.
You're not my therapist.
Anyway, what position did you play? What was
I generally played, so like I grew up playing, and I almost played in college, but decided that I didn't want to go to Liberty University. I feel like it's pretty obvious reasons for that one. I played generally the 3 or the 4, so small or power forward. Big left-handed guy, slashed the hole a lot. Had no jump shot.
And I actually only like basketball because it's the only sport I could play mediocrely. Is that a word?
Sure, it is now.
I feel like in the English language, you can just kind of make words up, and it's okay.
And Tish can tell you, too, if you ever ask, like, I have 2 skills in basketball.
That's correct.
I can rebound, and I can make hook shots with really bad form.
Yeah, it's the turnaround.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the turnaround fadeaway.
The turnaround, the Kobe fadeaway that looks god-awful, but
if you want
sometimes you make it.
And I miss all layups.
Yes.
See, I worked really hard to get that Dirk move down. The step in, put a little elbow or a shoulder into somebody, and then turn around and look like a deer getting shot out of the air and
Yeah?
try and make it, and just a lot of prayer.
Yeah? How'd that work out for you?
I did it once.
Okay.
Could never shoot a free throw. I think I was 50% on free throws my senior year.
Why didn't you practice more?
I did. I practiced a lot, actually. My dad took me to the gym one day
So
and was like, he just stood in front of me with his arms up and he goes, "We're not
Yeah?
leaving until you make 100." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
How long did that take?
He's still actually working on that.
Yeah. I have to go meet him at the gym after this. Otherwise, I don't get my allowance.
Well, as you guys can tell, we are definitely experts on the sport of basketball. And as you probably know, if you're a basketball fan, you know that Joe has no idea that Liberty University actually has made the NCAA playoffs pretty often in the last few years.
Yeah, well,
Sorry.
have you ever been to Liberty University, though?
No, I don't believe in Liberty.
It's
Spoken like a true Texan.
it's kind of like Baylor, but
What?
smaller and more concentrated.
And he says, Baylor, we are here from Waco, Texas, live from the guest bedroom my wife lets me live in, recording this episode. But let's transition, guys. This last year, the NBA playoffs typically has not been very good. Tej and I have talked about basketball basically the entire time we've been friends.
Yep.
For the last 3 years, he and I think we both fell out of it. And
Yeah, a bit. Yeah, just it was kind of boring.
the Golden State Warriors came, kind of dominated, and it's always more fun when they actually lose. But the league has shifted quite a bit, and you can see that the league has shifted just with the way the playoffs were. Like almost every round was very competitive.
Yep.
What were some of your high points, low points of the playoffs? Joe, you talked about the Clippers off stream.
Yeah, I think the most impressive thing to me, which is going to make this coming season, I mean, a little terrifying if you don't like the Clippers. Interesting that they'll probably be really good.
Who really
because
doesn't like the Clippers, though? They've been terrible for so long.
any Laker fan doesn't like the Clippers.
That's fair.
Well, Lakers fans shouldn't like themselves right now.
That's true.
I don't think they ever did. Anyway,
Baby Bron James coming in, bringing in AD.
yeah, what if they start playing on the same teams with Bronny and LeBron? That'll be weird. But the Clippers took the Golden State Warriors to 6 games with virtually nobody on their team.
Patrick Beverly, baby.
Okay, I was going to say name a player on
Lockdown
the team, but you
defender.
beat me to it. But yeah, no, like to see a team do that with hardly anybody, and now they have Paul George,
Doc Rivers,
and Kawhi Leonard. That's going to be insane.
Yeah.
Like
You pair them with Doc Rivers, and I mean that's a recipe for success right there.
yeah. The other
One of the
weird
greatest
part
coaches
is,
ever.
Didn't Paul George date Doc Rivers' daughter and then cheat on her?
You know, that's a rumor. It's not confirmed, but I like to believe that that's true, and that's going to be fun.
I wonder if Doc makes him run laps for that.
You hurt my daughter. Run left, bitch.
Just run stairs constantly.
I'm a grown man. You can't make me do this.
He's like, no, I've hurt my ankle really bad before. I'm not going to run these stairs. I don't fucking care. Run them
Dude,
anyway.
do you remember when fucking Paul George broke and destroyed his leg?
Yeah, and then
literally
he
everybody
came back
remembers.
and he was like playing power forward for a while because he didn't have like the same amount of movement. You know, his first season back, he didn't have that much movement at all. Like he was still rehabbing and it was fine, but he was playing the 4 over in Indiana, if I'm not mistaken, and he just was killing it, man. And here recently, man, he's like right back to where he was, if not better.
Yeah. I remember watching that play. I was at the gym with my friend who's much stronger than I am. And I was lifting and I saw it happen and I dropped the bar onto my chest and was like, "Oh my god, dude, get it off."
So you hurt yourself. You were trying to steal the thunder.
I blame
You get it? Because he was on the Thunder.
Oh, boy.
Bow, bow, bow.
But that's a really great point about the Clippers. The Clippers did take... And the West Conference Finals, or just the playoffs in general, was super weird because you expected the Rockets to be the one that tested the barometer, the limit of the Golden State Warriors.
Disappointing, though.
Yeah, super disappointing. And that's, you know...
Harden cannot put the team on his back in the playoffs.
No,
he can do it
can't.
during the regular season. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that he's a bad NBA player because he's clearly not. But come playoff time, when the team actually needs him, he doesn't have that Mamba mentality.
He doesn't have that gear shift. Yeah,
He doesn't.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's going to be the fun
He needs to get his
thing
transmission checked. Am I right, guys?
I think that'll be the fun thing about the Rockets this year, though, because they have Russell Westbrook, who lives in the clutch.
Right.
That's true.
But
That's very
neither,
true.
Neither of them, neither can finish. Like,
Wait,
neither of
so
them
hold on. Who's gonna take the last shot for the new Rockets team?
Probably
in the clutch?
Westbrook.
You
Because
think?
he won't give the ball to
But he
Harden.
can't shoot.
Yeah.
He can, I know, but he's still
Yeah.
going to take it.
I was looking at stats a couple days ago on Russell Westbrook's shot chart, and it was like in the 30s and low 40s everywhere except for like right underneath the hoop where he just slashes and drives. It's like over 50%. So, I mean, that's his game.
Yeah,
and we all know it.
Right. So there were other standouts here, like the Raptors came out of nowhere in this playoffs. And
Dude, the
Kawhi,
Bucks.
The Bucks, the Bucks were great, but you expected the Bucks to be there in the finals.
Sure.
I think everybody did.
Sure.
They were probably the favorites to win it at one point, even with KD there. But the Golden State Warriors are in a mess. The Raptors are now in a mess. The Bucks just got bigger this season. We'll talk about those acquisitions in a little bit.
Today, Korver signed with the Bucks, a 1-year deal.
That's a big get.
Yeah.
That's a big get.
That is pretty big.
That's good. That's going to help
Do you
it.
think, so Giannis goes into free agency next year.
Right.
Do you think he's gonna be a franchise player, or do you think like the whole franchise player thing is pretty dead now?
No, the franchise player thing's not dead. He's definitely a franchise player.
You think so?
I mean,
Small market team.
It's a small market
It's
team.
that little consistent storyline that small market teams can't keep their superstars.
Right, but he has Chris Middleton with him too. So like, why would
True.
you want to leave playing with Chris Middleton? Who's their point guard now?
That's a great question, actually. Who is the fucking point guard?
I mean, they've got Horford,
I don't think
too,
it really
so
matters.
there's no
they don't have
reason-
Horford. Bucks don't have Horford.
I thought
He's 76er, baby.
Jesus Christ.
Speaking of the 76ers, think about how much the playoffs would have changed if Kawhi didn't hit that shot.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Like, the 76ers were going to be in the finals. Like, that was it. 76ers were going to be in the finals. They were. I honestly think that the 76ers could have won the finals had they advanced.
Do you think the 76ers would have gotten past Milwaukee?
Yeah, I
That's
do.
the series I wanted to see. I mean,
I wanted to see Embiid versus Antetokounmpo.
I think that would have been probably the most electric scenario we could have had.
Dude, and I'm hoping that it'll happen this next year because the 76ers just got better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, signing Horford, that's a huge get.
It's a huge get.
It's a
so
huge
you've got
get.
Ben Simmons, you've got Embiid.
Guy
down
can't
low. Who's that?
Ben Simmons cannot shoot,
He cannot
but he got a max contract. He's paid.
He could slash, though. I mean, if you can slash and kick out, not Giannis, what the fuck am I saying?
don't
Embiid
know.
shoots much better than Simmons, which is kind of weird.
It's weird if he can stay healthy.
He stayed healthy
Hey,
last year mostly.
we watched him back whenever he was playing in Kansas.
Yeah,
we
saw
watched
him
him, live,
Yeah.
and the dude has all the talent, but good God, are his ankles just made of glass?
Yeah. You know what's crazy, too, is I was speaking of, like, watching him in college, like, you guys, like, listening, you wouldn't think that, because we're in Waco, Texas, that we're not really a hotbed for basketball, but we're in the center of Big 12 country.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll get there. I'm sure we'll talk about NCAA basketball. Why the fuck not?
No, we're an NBA podcast.
Well,
Nope.
they're future NBA players.
Wait, can we be a Big Three podcast? Can we switch it up right in the middle?
I don't know what that means.
The Big Three, it's the new league. It's run
Ice
by
Cube.
Ice Cube.
So everybody has permanent stink face.
They just kicked out Lamar Odom, which I think he just set
Thank
the record
God.
for getting kicked out of more leagues than anybody else.
Yeah. That dude. I hope he gets his shit together, but I doubt it.
Right.
Yeah, and like if you're getting kicked out of a league that Ice Cube runs for bad behavior, like what the fuck? Like, what is wrong with you?
Is that why Drake's not in there? Because he has that song talking about being on your best behavior? Oh, it's worst behavior. Why is Drake not there?
Why is Drake not there?
Because Drake's still trying to get signed by the Raptors.
Dude, he's still trying to make the team over in Kentucky.
Yeah. He's trying to make any team he can. I can't wait. I hope Baylor one day is really good and Drake is on our team.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it would be really
I'm
awesome.
pretty
No,
sure he, I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure he
want
has
him
like
putting
3
on-
years of eligibility.
I don't want him putting my school on. No.
He'll make a song about us.
But I think the playoffs are the reason. Like, so Joe, Teach, and I were drinking buddies as sports fans and men that aren't going anywhere in their lives.
Oops.
Speak for you're right.
But yeah, we're watching the playoffs together. Joe and I watch a lot of the finals together because we have nothing better to do than go up to our local watering hole. True Love, a future sponsor of. Just kidding.
I bet
don't
you
say
we could
just
get
kidding.
Eric to
Yeah.
give us some money.
Yeah.
Probably. Eric, please give us some money. We would like to do a podcast. We'll never do it there. But yeah,
Why not?
The playoffs this last year, I think, was an inspiration for like, hey, the league looks like it's going in a direction where it's going to be more competitive now.
I agree,
It's going to be more
100%.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
we talked about this a lot of times.
Yeah.
We're like, let's do a fucking podcast. Tej, run down some of these moves. There's big moves. We'll talk about each one. But what are the biggest moves of the? And everybody knows them. But run them.
Yeah, well, the latest biggest move was the trade of Westbrook to Houston. We kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. We got Paul George and Kawhi teaming up over with the Clippers. And you know what's interesting is that in free agency, as a Mavs fan, I was talking to a couple of buddies of mine. We're all Mavs fans, and we were really, really wanting to get Patrick Beverley. We thought that it would have been a really, really good addition to the team, kind of help Luka out.
Right.
You know, you got
Yeah,
Porzingis
Luka-
over there
Luka
now.
too.
That's right. And when he re-signed with the Clippers, we were like, okay, I mean, cool. You wanted to stay there. It was the rumors were saying that Beverly was seriously considering going to Dallas, and then all the news broke about